Holy crap guys, welcome back, and boy do I have a good one for you today. In today's video we'll be going over the new and improved Fireball Sorcerer, including talents, aspects, enchantments, uniques, and much more. So let's get right into it. Alright, we're going to start off with the aspects first. As always, I'll have a build link in the description below. And as you'll see here, we run a staff. I'll get to that in a minute. We'll start with the helmet here. We got the Bone Leaf Helm of Fortune. Your lucky hit chance is increased by 18% while you have a barrier active. And then we have Protector on the chest, per usual. And then we have the Gloves of the Illuminator, which is, I have max rolled crit strike chance. If you don't know, if you had these gloves prior to the patch, you had to farm a new pair. So luckily, yesterday when I got home from work, I hit up some Nightmare Dungeons with my buddy and they immediately dropped for me. So lucky hit, up to 5% chance to restore 11.3 primary resource. I know it's a kind of low roll, but I got the new pair of gloves, so I'm pretty happy about that. Plus 4 ranks of Fireball. Fireball now bounces as it travels, exploding each time it hits the ground, but its explosion deals 36% less damage, so that's very nice. I got almost the lowest roll on that, so that's good. Onto the legs, we have Disobedience, try to get max roll if you can. And then for boost, we have Binding Embers. Flame Shield lets you move unhindered through enemies. Enemies you move through while Flame Shield is active are immobilized for 3 seconds, so you'll just get a movement speed from your Flame Shield, another immobilized add-on, and you can just move freely as much as you want. Onto our necklace, we have Accelerating. Critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 38%. We'll get more into that later with our ultimate. Inferno and Fireball. And then for our mana issues, because I've found this build does have mana issues, we run double mana restoring. We got Starlight Band, gain 38 of your primary resource for every 25% of life that you heal. And then Prodigy, using a cooldown, restores 15 mana. This is just imprinted for the codex, so if you have a max roll 25, you're in a very well spot. This is amazing. You'll be popping cooldowns left and right just to get mana, and you'll always have a barrier. And then lastly, we have our staff. So the aspect is the 3 curses, increases critical strike damage of Fireball by 72 up to 80%. Double this against healthy targets. So this is where our bread and butter is. I recommend running a staff because, as well, if you see the top, 52.5% damage to crowd control enemies. Everything is always crowd controlled through immobilized, so you'll just be always increasing your barber damage, which we'll get into the hearts right now. Alright, so going into our hearts, we obviously have barber, so I have that in my necklace. And then for my first ring, I have, after spending 195 of your primary resource, your next attack stuns enemies hit for 4 seconds. Now the best in slot 1 is the one that takes your health away. I think it's called the Dark Dance. You will want that instead of this one. I just can't get it. It's a red one, so I would have it here, but this one is Talrusta. For each unique element you deal damage with, you deal 10.3% increased damage for 9 seconds. So this is a very nice one. We deal damage with Frost, Fire, Shadow, but yeah, that covers the Caged Hearts, so we'll get on to the next section. And on another side note, and if you want to run a wand and an offhand, the aspects to put on your wand is Ancient Flame. While both bonuses from Isu's Ferocity key passive are active, your attack speed is increased by 43%, which is pretty often. If you get a max roll 50%, it might be worth it to go wand and focus because you have the lucky hit and the cooldown reduction right here. But on your offhand, you have Frozen Orb. So Frozen Orb stays in place after reaching its destination and explodes 2 additional times. We'll get into that when we get into the talents. And then the 3 curses will go on your necklace, so you always get a bonus on that. As you can tell, I have staff and wand setup. I've been testing with both. I really like the staff. I like the play style. I love the way that the staff looks, so I'm going with the staff. But like I said, on your necklace you have the 3 curses. Increases the critical strike damage of your meteor and fireball by 60%. Double that against healthy targets. But yeah, we'll get on to the talents now. Alright guys, into our talents. Nothing crazy. We always get Firebolt. After you get Firebolt, go down to Fireball. You get 5 out of 5 of that. And obviously from our gloves, we get 4 ranks of that. So we put it at 9 of 5. And then we get Enhanced Fireball and then Destructive Fireball. That's what got the buff this season if you haven't checked that out. And we get 5 of 5 into Frozen Orb. So that'll be our second enchantment. We go up to Greater Frozen Orb. Frozen Orb's explosion has a 30% chance to make all enemies hit vulnerable for 2 seconds. So that's our vulnerable damage on top of Frost Nova. But then we get 1 in Devastation, increase our mana by 3, and then 3 of 3 in Elemental Dominance. Your core mastery skills deal 9% increased damage when cast above 50 mana. Onto defensive, we get all ranks here. You usually start with 1. We get Shimmering Flame Shield, Shimmering Teleport, and Enhanced Ice Armor to help with our mana regeneration because this build is mana hungry. Then we get Mystical Frost Nova, vulnerable once you use it against enemies, and 6 seconds against bosses. And then down here for Conjuration, we get 3 of 3 in Precision Magic, 1 of 3 in Align the Elements, 3 of 3 in Mana Shield, and 3 of 3 in Protection. This is very important. Using a cooldown grants 30% of your max life as a barrier. And then down to Mastery, we just go straight for the juicy fire perks. 3 of 3 in Devouring Blaze. You deal 21% increased critical strike damage against burning enemies. If they are immobilized, this bonus is increased by 40%, leading us to Crippling Flame. Lucky hit, your pyromancy skills have a 15% chance to immobilize for 2 seconds. This is maybe why the wand and focus is a better combo. This is all the reason why we want Lucky Hit, and our gloves give resource if we can get that to proc. But 3 of 3 in Inner Flame, your pyromancy skills deal 9% increased damage while you are healthy. We're usually always healthy if you're not pushing high nightmare dungeons. And then one of our last things, we get Inferno, and then we get Supreme Inferno. While Inferno is active, your pyromancy skills cost no mana. So once you pop Inferno, you're just gonna go crazy with Fireball, crit, get your barber way up there and watch the screen blow up. If you don't have raiment like myself, Prime Inferno is very nice. Inferno repeatedly pulls enemies to its center, so that's very nice. Now, another side note with Supreme Inferno, this thing lasts for 8 seconds, so once that 8-second window is going, you need to just spam Fireball as much as you can. So you got an 8-second burst window. And then we get 3 of 3 in Fiery Surge. Killing a burning enemy increases your mana regeneration by 45% for 3 seconds. Very nice. And our key passive is Isu's Ferocity. I'm decided for my future build videos, I'm not going to go into the Paragon that much, or really at all. I'm just going to glance over like this. The glyphs that we take are Elementalist, Destruction, Control, and then in the future when I get this board finished right here, it will be Tactician. Now the reason I'm not going to link it is because I'm always going to have it in the video description how many places there are to put points. It's just easier if you just follow the D4 planner. I will, however, go into the Paragon in my future Fireball build video where I actually deep dive into this build and carefully nitpick each and every selection, which includes aspects and talents, and where to get them. Consider this video a simple TLDR to get you on your feet within a good time frame, in this video's case, under 8 minutes. I absolutely love this build. I leveled in the preseason with my buddy to max level as Fire, and I really did not want to go Ice Shards, but Fire was in such a bad space, it was impossible to run this build. I'm also eyeing the Conjuration Hydra build, but with the full work schedule, it is very hard for me to release a video on the Hydra build, but it looks absolutely thrilling. But by far I'm having a ton of fun with this build, even with the semi-mana issues. I don't mind it as the whole screen blows up. Literally right after this we work on a combustion build dealing with the strictly burn damage, so stay tuned for that. I will see you all in the next Sorcerer video.